welcome back, everyone, with another episode of the Holistic Cannabis Show. And I am always your host, Dr. Yolanda Henderson. I'm always joined with my co-host,
Lord Hen Henderson.
Lord Hen Henderson. All right, so he's Lord today, you guys.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Lord, can you tell us where we can watch the show or send our viewers or followers or anybody who's watching?
Statusnetwork.net. Download the app. Find the Holistic Cannabis Show right there. You can call in at 470-251-4647 if you have any questions. Got an opinion, got something to say, we'll listen to you.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Except for the dude that called last week.
Oh,
ain't
wow.
listening to you no more, man.
Yes. All right.
Instagram, manifesttv.status. Facebook, Status Network LLC. Periscope and Twitter, status_network_. On Amazon, Fire Stick, and Roku, Status Network, Manifest TV, and as always on YouTube, Manifest TV.
That's right.
Look for the Holistic Cannabis Show on all that I just said.
That's right. The Holistic Cannabis Show is getting large. I'm excited about what's going on, this movement we got going on.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're
The
having a little
Super Bowl coming up, the Pro Bowl coming up.
It is.
Yes.
And my team didn't even get there, man. That's what's so tragic, man. My team, man, did not get there. It's turmoil. It's turmoil in the tundra.
Yes. So yes, February 13th is Los Angeles. Is going to be the wonderful, wonderful place where the Super Bowl is going to take place. It's limited at this time, so it's not going to be full capacity. But hey, they're still going to get their party on and still going to see who's going to win. So actually, we do see who win today. As the winner of today's game, or however that goes, Mr. Henderson, you're going to tell us about that a little later.
Sure, we'll talk about it.
That's right. So shouts out to all of our January birthdays. Yes. All right.
You know somebody whose birthday is today?
No, whose birthday is today?
Sarita Morton.
Sharita Morton.
My big cousin.
Yes.
It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Miss Sharita Morton. All right, and who else? We had Tamesia Martin had a birthday this past week. We had
Ty Montgomery
this month. We had
Auntie Pammy.
Auntie Pammy, go Pam. Yes, all right. And then we had my, I guess my cousin did pass away, so I want to shout condolences all over the world for her. May she rest in peace. Thank you for that. Yeah, COVID is taking people out of here, and she was fully vaccinated. That's something. That's something. So nobody can convince me otherwise. I think I'm sold out to my decisions. But we are going to stay and remain safe. Everyone knows about all the protocols that we offer. If you do not have a COVID protocol from me, Dr. Henderson, please give me a call at 404-631-6360. All right, and so we do have a special guest today. She is all the way live and doing wonderful things in Texas. And we're going to speak with her about what's going on, because today's show topic is mental health and cannabis. So we're going to add in what services she's offering to the public and to our youth and to Mr. Dunbar's LED 360 and all kinds of wonderful things in the community that we're collaborating with, you guys. We are reaching people and helping people all over the world with mental health. And it starts with your home, and then it trickles down throughout the communities and throughout the states, and then eventually the world. So we're gonna do great things to change the world as life changers. So we have with us today Miss Carol, Miss Lafayette. So Miss Carol and Harrison Lafayette is with us today. Go ahead, and Miss Carol, tell us what you're doing in the community and how we can get involved.
Well, I want to first of all thank you for having me on the show.
Yes,
Mental health, people lives matter. And I'm so glad to be able to join with you and Terrence Dunbar to make sure that we continue to make it matter. We are giving out scholarships for first responders for mental health. And when I say this, we're allowing citizens to be able to take an 8-hour training in reference to being aware and getting certified which will be international, to teach and learn to identify when a person is having a mental breakdown.
Awesome.
Mental aid first responders is a great resource for any leader, any organization, anyone that does with anyone in your community to be able to be skilled and trained to identify when one has a mental breakdown. Of course, police departments, police officers, they are getting trained, but they're pretty much enforced the law.
Oh, and those are the main ones who need it. Mr. Henderson and I were talking about that. It's like a lot of people who, especially people on the law enforcement, may have worked in, or may have been in the Army or in the, U.S. government, any type of one of those military, and have that mental problem, those PTSDs and things like that, that can actually be helped by having just the training that you offer. So we, are going to recommend this to everyone we know. Mr. Henderson, you have a question?
Can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that your program does, who qualifies for it, how they could find this type of assistance?
Okay, well, thank you. We have our organization has been around for about 12 years. We're located in Grand Prairie, Texas. It's called Community Step Up. We have a lot of resources that are on our team. When I say that, we have doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, and counselors. I am a licensed investigator, and most of my cases load that I have is mainly males and females who are incarcerated here in the state of Texas, who have been diagnosed with mental health and they're serving time in the prison system. Many of the cases are individuals who are trying to get out on appeals. And so what I've learned is that a lot of times when you do the research, when there are calls of mental health crisis, many families are reaching out to the police department. And so police are not trained for that.
Right.
So this course allows individuals to be trained to identify, and they're covered under the Good Samaritan law, where you can't be sued, you will be recognized as a first responder for mental health. It is known internationally. You can use this training anywhere around the world and be able to utilize it to help identify and get the individual the help that they need. You can also communicate what you found out about the person if police is called on the scene. I am giving 200 scholarships to Terrence Dunbar to issue those out. And I'm encouraging those, reach out to him. All you have to do is have the time to be available to take advantage of this scholarship so that you can get the training that you need.
How long is the training?
It's an 8-hour class. You will receive a manual on this class. And we have one of the greatest instructors. Not only are we looking for citizens to be trained, we're also looking for others who have organizations to get that training so they can become instructors to be able to certify others, since it is international. And these classes, the training itself to be an instructor, to get your license to teach, that lasts for about like 3 weeks. And so that's kind of like moving up. We want to get them certified first as a first responders. The greatest thing about this is the adult training is an 8-hour course. That's anyone over the age of 18 years old. We also have a separate training for youth. In the youth, that's anyone under the age of 18 years old, learning when the younger people are having a mental health breakdown. You don't diagnose, but you are being trained to identify what one is going through. It's kind of like first aid or something like this, but it's more intense because you're getting to know that person and kind of like building a database with the person to learn what triggers them, what medications are on, what hospitals is good for them. If the police comes on the scene, a lot of the police departments, they're coming up with a care team themselves. And so that consists of a social worker coming out, a first responder person, and usually an officer who doesn't have clothes on. This will allow organizations to build their own team, being certified of the way that they want to connect and bring this type of awareness.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's
cool.
awesome. All right. So what can we do to get everyone to sign up? So we're going to send them through Mr. Dunbar and his organization, and hopefully maybe they can join the organization, LED 360, and go ahead and get some training going on. All right. So rush on over if you're watching to LED 360. Go ahead and maybe you and him can collaborate with something like this to maybe be able to give the nonprofits an opportunity to get in those courses, and get those scholarships, right? All right. Well,
Right. I'm sorry. We do have a class that's coming up on February the 19th.
Okay.
I'm encouraging all to get connected with Dunbar, so Terrence Dunbar, so you can get the opportunity to take advantage of the scholarships and sign up. Once he gives me the information, you are put in the database, and there's some things and material that you will get.
Okay.
And so just take advantage of a class. We do have orientation. We like to do the orientation, and then we do the class as well too.
Awesome. That is
Cool.
great. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and get those people who are out here watching the show, and if you shared the show, those scholarships to be able to take this class. All right, so we will be in Vegas coming up. What days are you going to be in Vegas? Because we want to offer them in Vegas as well. What day are you coming to Vegas? Saturday? This Friday?
I am looking forward to coming to Vegas. I would like to bring a few people with me. When I say few, those instructors who do teach it. And so we're looking forward to joining up and making sure that we can continue this whole movement of making mental health matters. I look at this as being a movement.
Right.
We now got an opportunity to identify and also be a help to those who do something on it.
That'd be great. That's awesome. Congratulations to what you do. I just want to say thank you for thinking of those who may have a mental health problem. We don't know. And for so many people to have died, by the hands of people who may not even know they had a mental problem, or may have gone to jail and prematurely, or didn't have to go to jail, or didn't have to suffer whatever they went through. You guys are out here making a difference in teaching and training other people how to help in society that we live in. That's what it's all about. So thank you very much, Ms. Lafayette. You are doing a great job, and any way we can help, we look forward. So you can reach out to us to air it, to show your classes, or however you got going on. That would be a wonderful thing for us to do together. All right. So
Thank you very much.
Is there anything else you want to explain or tell to our viewers?
Okay, I want to let you all know that I did a survey, and what I came out of Texas prisons, believe it or not, 76% of individuals have been sent to a Texas prison, suffers and diagnosed with a mental health. And there is an issue here because prison should not be a place for mental health.
I know.
When somebody's having a mental health breakdown. It should not be a crime or a death sentence for anyone to suffer from mental health.
Right.
We came up in an era, I think that we all can relate, what goes on in this household, stay in this household, or let's not talk about it.
Right.
And so this is why I'm so excited to be a part of this movement and welcome other people, organizations in this movement, so that we can get this certification out and get so many people trained as it relates to mental health.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again for coming out. And I know I just met you, and you responded real quick to come out on the show. So thank you again. Stay safe. And until next time, we will see you again. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Goodbye.
All right. So y'all heard it here first. Okay? So
Mental health is real. It's real.
it's real.
It's real, man. It's a real thing, man. It's a lot of people that have those kind of issues, but definitely with law enforcement, any type of service industry, you know what I'm saying, man, you should be trained on how to recognize when somebody is having a mental health crisis. That way it lets you know if you need to get on down.
You know, hey, in relationships, you know, friendships, you know.
All of it. Any kind of interaction with another person,
Right.
you always have to be
ready,
susceptible to another person's mental state at the time that they approach you too.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So as people should be aware
Yeah.
of what it is
Right. Right.
when they get approached by people.
That's so right.
Don't ignore the red flags, man.
Don't you dare.
No matter how good a time you having.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. You never know. And we
Don't
should
ignore
have
the red
where
flags.
we are, you know, giving out the training when we get it. So what we're going to do is try to sign up for the trainers program to be able to be educators in this so
Right
that
on.
people are actually taught and we can actually post that on the show
Right on,
for
right
our
on. That's a
viewers
good
to
idea.
be
Yeah,
able
that's a
to
good
know what to look for when a person is having a mental health breakdown or some type of problems. And mental health is not just the schizophrenia and all the bad stuff that we talk about. It's the grieving. Cause,
Right, right.
It's
A lot
one
of-
of those as well.
Right. A lot of people think that mental health or mental illness is ended up in Debo's pigeon coop kind of
No,
crazy.
right.
And that's not what that is, man. It's people that have money that still have mental health issues.
Right.
It's people that's poor with no money that still have mental health issues.
So it has no
So it's a need to
face,
get
it
that
has
addressed.
no you know, it doesn't discriminate.
No gender,
That's
no
right.
race.
It doesn't discriminate.
no-
Like, unlike some people in some places, then they do. But you know, and mental health can be, you know, anything.
Anybody.
And anybody, yeah, anything that a person is going through. Health. COVID has been a mental health issue for 100% of Americans right now.
Yep.
Everyone has been in PTSD and fear over dying of COVID or
Yep.
catching and having COVID, just being in their families, and you're going to have PTSD. You're not going to know who's, you know, going to die next, or I mean,
Right,
that's
right.
life. You know, we're supposed to die, but they're, you know, putting this and instilling in us this fear of, if you don't take this vaccine, or if you go here, you can't go here without a mask, or you can't do something, you know, just however, you know, I don't want to get into too much details, but you all know that mental
Right.
health is real, and it's not
It's
just
very
the
real.
stuff that we look and we can observe and notice. It's what people are going through on a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
Yes.
It's a fight every day.
That's right. It's a struggle daily, and so
Every
to
single
have
day.
that training is going to be, you know, something that we can look forward to. And also with cannabis. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, you know, cannabis and mental health, because, you know, I am a doctor and I deal with people and cannabis. All
Okay.
right, so let's talk about a little bit about how
Okay.
PTSD
Cannabis and PTSD.
is helping.
Let's
Yes,
talk about
cannabis is helping people with PTSD and is making people with those illnesses become better, or being able to cope without some of the training. Nevertheless, we still need training, but it's helping us to calm down, relax, be a little happy, you know, not have that anxiety to talk in front of people, and just be well-rounded individuals, all happy and everything, because it does increase the dopamine levels, which are the happy neurotransmitters in your brain, and it does make people really, you know, feel good about themselves, and you know, it does some really great things. And now we found out that cannabis is helping with not allowing the spike protein into the cells, so we're excited
Right,
about that
right.
as well. So y'all
Right,
know,
with
if
the
y'all
hemp
heard
plant.
it, yes, CBDA and CBGA. And my students, if they're watching, know what the acid means in cannabis. It means the acid form of cannabis, which is another name for what, Mr. Henson?
But
The flower. The flower. I'm looking
the
for
flower,
I'm looking for
bud, the flower.
But when you get it comes in a bud, right? If you're growing it, it does come in a bud. But that is another great advantage of PTSD and cannabis. So we got a quick video, and we're going to show it real quick. And after this, we'll be back with some more information you can use.
If you're going,
It's not uncommon when people come in for them to describe to us that they've been experiencing atypical behavior, acting in ways that aren't like themselves. And this is not so uncommon with post-traumatic stress disorder.
People with post-traumatic stress symptoms often attempt to take care of their problem on their own. People drink. They use substances. They misuse substances as a way of coping.
Seven to 8% of the general population each year are affected by post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. It manifests itself after an individual goes through a shocking, stressful, or for lack of a better term, a traumatic experience, leaving an individual in a very disturbed state. The disorder can affect people of all ages and is commonly seen in military veterans, victims of sexual assault or abuse, and even witnesses of terror attacks and natural disasters. Symptoms of PTSD can begin to overcome an individual 3 months after the traumatic event, and these include flashbacks, where you relive the event over and over while even feeling the physical symptoms such as the racing heart and sweating. Individuals with PTSD can have difficulty falling asleep, difficulty concentrating, and can feel socially isolated, develop extreme anxiety while also having depression. Within the brain, the hippocampus, amygdala, and prefrontal cortex are the primary regions that are affected by PTSD, while the neurochemicals cortisol and norepinephrine, which are responsible for the stress response, also tend to show increased activity in PTSD patients. Imagine the worst possible day of your life. Now imagine reliving that moment over and over and over and over again. And with each passing moment, the fear that it may happen again only grows greater. For a lot of PTSD patients, they only see one solution, one effective way to cope with their problem, and this leads us to substance abuse. In recent years, PTSD has been shown to have a link with substance use disorder, in which individuals frequently use these substances to cope with their struggles. But today we'll be only focusing our attention to one of these drugs, cannabis, or more commonly known as marijuana. So, what is cannabis? Cannabis is a psychoactive drug that can be smoked, ate in an edible form, and drank in liquid form. The psychoactive substance within cannabis is known as THC, also known as tetrahydrocannabinol. This is a molecule that is responsible for eliciting the euphoric effects that it is known for. CBD is another major component of cannabis, however, it is not relevant to the studies we will be examining. So, when cannabis is ingested, it causes the brain to release dopamine, which is the reward chemical for our body. And this is the fundamental mechanism by which cannabis affects our brain, body, and mental state. So now we've talked about PTSD, and we've talked about cannabis, but how do they relate to one another? We'll take a look at two studies that examine the effects of cannabis on PTSD. Does it help or does it hurt the symptoms? In a study conducted in 2014, researchers examined 2,276 military veterans who were diagnosed with PTSD. Their findings were astonishing. Following an analysis of their symptoms, they found that those military veterans that never used cannabis had the lowest level of PTSD symptoms, such as depression, anxiety, and sleeplessness. However, it is interesting that those who started smoking cannabis following PTSD diagnosis saw a rise in violent behaviors. In contrast, those who stopped smoking marijuana also saw a decrease in certain PTSD symptoms. In a more recent study conducted in 2020, 404 individuals with PTSD were put on a medical marijuana regimen in which they inhaled cannabis. These individuals tracked their symptoms on an app for 31 months and had a total of 11,000 responses. They tracked symptoms such as intrusive thoughts, flashbacks, irritability, anxiety, along with many others. After analyzing the results, the researchers concluded that there was a 50% decrease in all PTSD symptoms immediately after using marijuana. Like all studies, there are some limitations. There needs to be more controlled research so we can truly understand the effects. This is a new and advancing field, and it's necessary to explore all avenues to see how cannabis can improve or deteriorate our mental health. Now, where does this leave us? Can we say for certain that cannabis cures PTSD? Definitely not. But we can certainly also not rule it out as a potential treatment. What we can say, though, is that for certain individuals, cannabis does prove to lessen the severity of their symptoms, while for others, it may increase them. Like any medication, before taking any course of action, it is best to consult your doctor and understand both the possible benefits and the risks.
All right,
So definitely got to be careful now,
Definitely.
because that cannabis or that THC ain't for everybody.
It's not for everybody. It's for good. For some, it's good. For others, it's not. So everybody is different. Everybody's body, changes to different scenarios. So you always want to make sure that you are talking to someone who is qualified. And so we do have medical cannabis health coaches that can coach you through cannabis, because starting cannabis and you never had cannabis before actually has a psychoactive symptom to it, because you're taking too much. You may not experience the full benefits if you just jump in right into the fire. You need to start out slow. You need to have someone to walk you through it. And so that's what we train over at the Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science and the Gift of Life Community Home. How to dose specific your cannabis, how to ensure that you're not getting a bad experience off front because you don't know how to use the cannabis for your personal benefits. Okay, so there's different routes of administration with cannabis. So for some, it's smoking, and it's not everybody's thing to do is smoke cannabis. Some people want to actually eat cannabis. Some people do better when they get cannabis on their skin. Some people can use a suppository or a vaginal suppository, or however. There is different routes of administration. So we do talk about that in our classes. So if you all want to get more information, if you want to enroll, our classes has started for this year. We started January the 8th, but we do have classes starting in March. So if you're interested in that, please do give us a call, 404-631-6360, and get enrolled. And all right, and our new class is coming up, the Medical Cannabis Health Coach class, where you're going to become certified, board certified, and you will get the credentials as Medical Cannabis Health Coach after you complete the course. But you first have to have taken the first course so that you can get the fundamentals and the basics of cannabis and how it does help your body. And then you get into the business structure and becoming a medical cannabis health coach, working with doctors, working with lawyers, working with everyone to get actual where you need to be. And we're going to recommend all of our medical cannabis health coaches to now get certified in mental health training, so that they're able to not diagnose mental health, but get the diagnosis and be able to help them and their families in identifying and working back with the communities that we live in, because the world, the communities, all of it trickle down to self-responsibility, and self-responsibility includes helping our brothers and being our brother's keeper. So, Mr. Henderson, what do you got for us today?
Well, in other news,
there you go. In other news,
there are 4 credit score facts you must know. I got them 4 hot. I got 4 hot tips for you today. www.nthcredit.net, nthcredit@gmail.com, 888-959-2093, in partnership with the Gift of Life Community Homes. Here you go. Did you know?
right?
90% of all lenders use FICO, which is the standard.
No.
Check this out. 90% of all lenders use a version of the FICO score.
What?
But guess what else they use?
What?
Fair Isaacs and the Beacon score.
Okay.
All right. Now, those credit scores are not really talked about very much.
Okay.
The difference between each of those scores is there are certain things that are not calculated in what makes up that score for them. So you'll see a variance in your scores. Just like if you go to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, if you go look at your reports from them, they all 3 are different.
Right.
You might have one account on TransUnion that's not on Experian.
Okay.
You see? So checking the credit report helps you find those type of errors. And those type of errors can help you raise your score too. All right, that's the first tip.
Okay.
All right, then we're gonna go back to it. All right. Credit scores range from 300 to 850.
What?
All right, 850 is the highest. At 850, you walk anywhere, you just signing your name.
Signing your name.
You just signing your name.
No cash, no nothing.
Period. That means you've never been late. Your payment history was always impeccable from the time you open that file, and you have a nice pattern of repayment history and paying things off. Then your score maxes out at 850. All right? Now, low credit scores can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You go buy a house and that mortgage is 30 years. But when you got the house, you qualified with a 580. All right? Another instance would be if your mortgage was funded by a flexible interest rate or a adjustable interest rate, right? Then the cost of that loan fluctuates as the 30-year period goes on.
Oh, okay.
If you're an adjustable rate mortgage or any kind of flexible rate, anything, it could be a car, it could be anything.
Okay.
If the feds say up with the interest, then your cost is gonna go higher the next month. All right. Now, credit scores. Did you know credit scores are not the only deciding factors for lenders?
What?
When you go and apply for something, people think that they get rejected just based on their scores
As
as
it's not
factors.
about my,
It ain't gonna be about your race or your gender. At least blatantly, they not gonna make it be about that. All right, but
what we can do.
some of the reasons, if businesses have hard time getting funded, is because of an incomplete application. Something is not legible. Something don't quite add up on the application. We got questions on the application. The underwriter is gonna return that. Another word for return is reject. All right. So the person that's talking to you don't really understand what just happened. So he'll come back and try to get the information. Hey man, do you have another paycheck stub that you can use? You sure this address right? You sure that this your right birthday? You sure that this your right social security number? Stuff like that. We'll get your application denied. All right. We got another one. How to improve your credit score now. All right. You done came to the conclusion that your credit is shot up. You done already came to that conclusion. So what do you do to improve that score? Dispute inaccurate information on your credit report. That'll probably be the number one thing to do and the most easiest thing to do. All right, it'll save you money. You won't have to worry about no settlements and all that kind of stuff, just looking at the inaccurate information. So you say, well, what kind of information could be inaccurate on my credit report? Your name could be spelled wrong.
Right.
Your social security number could be wrong. It could have been that your credit report merged with somebody else's, like in the case of like a father and a son.
With the same name.
Right. Dennis Thompson Jr. and Dennis Thompson Sr. or the third. Sometimes when the person is keying in the application, when the person is applying for the credit, don't always put the junior, the senior, or the third.
Right.
Your credit file can be merged. Now, how does that happen? There is a larger suppository of information at play. LexisNexis. LexisNexis is the information furnisher who holds all the information on the individual from the creation of a credit file all the way to right now. Did you know that?
I did not know
It's
that.
just not Experian.
There's another one.
No, it's not just them.
LexisNexis.
But LexisNexis, CoreLogic, all right, SageStream, all right, those are just three of the other data furnishers out there. All right, let's go back to the next tip. Hit that. Make any outstanding payments. All right, the best thing that you want to do and the first thing that you want to look out for is anything that you can pay open line of credit. Right, an open line of credit. Say your credit cards is just past due. Okay, they're not closed. They just past due and your usage high. Well, start paying on that balance to bring that usage down. Your scores will start to go up.
Right.
Limit new credit requests. Well, that's kind of self-explanatory right there. Now, if you're trying to get your credit up, just use it sparingly as far as inquiries. Right. Next thing you want to do, of course, is common sense. Pay your bills on time. When that bill comes, go ahead and pay it. The quickest way to do it is to set the account up on bill pay. That way, that money, at least the minimum amount, is going to come out every month. Anything extra that you decide to pay is just extra. All right? The next one. All right? The next tip we got for you is pay down the debt. All right? That kind of coincide with number 4. Guess what? I got another one I'm finna shoot you up with. Right after this. It's not a commercial, it's just right after the screen, you feel me? All right, now, all right, it's about to be tax time. All right, you're about to get this money back. All right. Unfortunately, a lot of people going to end up with a 10-year-old car that they have paid their whole tax return to. Check this out. Did you know the average score to purchase a car is 500? Instead of going to the total no car lot, all right? But some people, that's all that we can get to. I've been to a total no car lot before. This score will depend on the amount of money being requested. However, some lenders will approve scores as low as 500 if you don't mind getting higher interest rates. You got a 500, they'll give you the car, but it's going to cost you a little bit more than a person with a better score. So taking care of those things that we saw in the previous slide would definitely help you to raise their score to get what you want cheaper. I'm going to hit you with one more. The house, the car, credit card, vacation, whatever. Check this out. I got one more after that. Boom, and that's going to be number 4 right there. I told you I was going to hit you with 4 of them real quick.
All right. You got another one?
Now, negative impacts on your credit score, all right? Now, we all know what the negative impacts on a credit score is, right? If you don't pay your bills on time, what's going to happen? You're going down the toilet, all right? If you file for bankruptcy or foreclosure, did you know bankruptcy costs you 120 points, all right? You carry high balances on your credit card. That means every month you ain't paying down that balance. You just carrying it over. You know, you might drop $30 or $40 on a $700 balance. Well, guess what? That's going to take you a long time to pay that back doing that though. All right? You apply for too many credit accounts. Too many inquiries raises the flag with the lender because it looks like that you're desperately seeking cash. And then your other history comes into play of not paying the bills on time. Well, if you did it to them, you'll do it to us. We're going to deny you. All right? Number 5. If you ignore questionable items on your credit report, I'm going to say it one more time, you get one every 12 months, every year from each of the 3 bureaus. Now, somebody said, well, okay, well, what can I do with credit here? And why you always talking about credit? Because, man, did you know that credit is a real good way to generate income, just having good credit? That people say, okay, well, the way for the future and the smart thing to do is to make yourself the bank. Well, then the smartest way to me to make myself be the bank is go to the bank and take out the loan. And then do something with the loan to generate the cash to pay the loan back. Now, guess what? Boom, that money is mine. I'm just saying. Now, I become the bank.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I don't know.
I don't know.
Check this out.
Want to get the bank?
I'm going to put you up on another one then.
Pay the bank back, though.
Still got to pay the bank back. Yeah. Yeah. Still going to have to pay the bank back initially. Now, come on. Unless, you know, your revenues is that good. Okay. If your revenues is that good and you believe in what you're applying for to be that good, then go out there and get the money. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Go out there and get the money. Now, if you're in the Memphis, Tennessee area and your nonprofit is trying to seek funding or you're trying to fundraise for your nonprofit, now holla at your boy. There you go. All right? We got that moving with FedEx Forum. All right, so I need to holler. Check this out. You'll make more money buying a multi-family unit than you will a single house. Come on, let's argue about it.
All right, or an Airbnb. All right.
Airbnb, a long-term Airbnb now.
Yeah, but yeah, make some money. All right, so we have a bunch of information that we want to cover, go over our photos and our flyers before we leave. So yes, Mr. Dunbar Bay is returning to Mecca. Congratulations about the endeavors and things that he's doing, and being able to help all of the organizations with 62 different sports, plus band, cheer, and dance. All right, so the nonprofit fundraising events is happening now. If you're interested and you want to work inside of Mr. Dunbar's organization and become an ambassador for the team, you may do so. You can contact him at www.dunbarbay.com and be able to contact him and get more information on how you can fundraise. All right?
There you go.
Also, the Texas Rodeo is going to come up next month on the 28th, from the 28th to the 20th. So it is going to be a great event. We are actually have contract for that. We'll be getting our volunteers together. So if you're interested and you're in the Texas Houston area, please give us a call at 404-631-6360 or toll free 1-888-959-2093. And that is to be able to provide entertainment, concessions, and things like that.
But they ain't got Paul Wall on there.
I know, right?
Slim Thug.
Yeah, my Texas people. All right, so shouts out again to our wonderful class. And speaking of class, Mr. Henderson, you have a class coming up soon.
I do.
All right, we had a really good time on yesterday, so shouts out to the doctors that I was in the class with. I had a privilege to be able to train doctors. And we did a lab testing course and or seminar, and it was really fun. We also have done the hydroponics. Mr. Henderson is well into the cultivation part and explains how you can start your hydroponics in the water in a bucket system. And that's all inspired by one of our former students, Mr. Kawan Chu. So shouts out to you of Great Leaf Hydro. All right, so rest in peace to my wonderful cousin. All right, so we're just praying for the family.
Module 5 Business and Finance course, February the 5th, 2022, 9:30 to 12. All right, we're talking about the money.
That's right. So you see drugs, I see medicine. You see medicine, and I see drugs. So we see things a little bit differently. If you don't see cannabis as a medicine, which you have not been taught, all of that you need to be taught, and you need to enroll in our classes. So give us a call to enroll, 404-631-6360, and enroll. And that's Zoom, so you can take those classes over Zoom.
Yes, sir.
Golden. All right, so our strain of the week we have here is Golden, the Golden Goat. All right, so Mr. Henderson, you see how wonderful that is? All those brown hairs and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's looking good now. Now we talking business here. It's a hybrid strain, cannabinoid, THC 20%, CBG 1%. The terpenes is fruity, peppery, and herbal. Sound like that fruity pepper strain to me. Right. All right. Now, Golden Goat was created by accident in Topeka, Kansas, when a male Hawaiian Romulan pollinated Mr. Dank's island sweet skunk. The scent is described as being a combination of sweet, sour, spicy with a tropical fruit flavor. Its full body effects provide a delightful rush of euphoria and a creative spark. Golden Goat's flowering time is about 9 to 11 weeks, with a golden appearance closer to harvest.
All right.
67% of the people who took this strain said it made them feel happy, while 59% felt uplifted, 58% felt euphoric, and 48% felt energetic. See, a nice little energetic strain. And about half the people said that they felt relaxed on that right there.
Oh, wow. Good. All right, so we do now offer the Ionic Detox program, and that is wonderful. We've seen some amazing results. If you need your feet detox, we can do that for $1 a minute, up to, 30 minutes, you know.
And what does a foot detox do?
It detoxes all of those harmful chemicals in your liver and your gut and your, some women, we suffer from candida, you know, that yeast infection stuff, and it can come out through your pores, but we want it to come out through your feet. And we've seen some nasty stuff, but you know what? We knew that it was all worth it, and so we want you all to come out and get and feeling great again. Shouts out to one of our former students, Mr. Juan Orozco, and he is doing deep cleaning carpet services. So deep PK clean, or sorry, Clean Pro carpet cleaning. Sorry, I'm looking at that wrong. The Gift of Life Community Home is one of our proud sponsors and our partner with the Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science. If you do want to become a member of the organization, please do so and get all the great perks and benefits in helping in your community, such as the credit repair, your cannabis education, and as well as getting a natural holistic doctor with the vitamins and herbs your body needs. We do offer live and remote training classes for the Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science. So if you're not able to come in person, we do have those live Zoom courses. And we had a bunch of students in our last class. So shouts out to our Zoom course. Those are for people who are far away, who can't come to Georgia and take the classes, but still want that quality education.
That's right. That's right. You get it everywhere.
All right. So you get it everywhere. So give us a call to enroll or go to the website, www.atlantaacademyofcannabisscience.com. All right. So Normal in the Media. Mr. Normal is an organization for National Organization for the Reform of Medical Marijuana Laws, or marijuana laws. And they are trying to get the president to go on his belief system and what he was supposed to do when he promised to pardon those people who was convicted of cannabis. In Illinois, Normal pushes back against THC cap proposal, and Normal also voices concerns about restrictive provisions in the proposal. In New Jersey and also in Mississippi, they're doing more advocacy. Longitudinal studies show that cannabis impacts on lung health distinct from tobacco. So just because people say, oh, you can't smoke or you're not supposed to smoke, it's going to cause you to have cancer no matter what it is. No, it's not true. When it comes to cannabis smoke, it's a whole different type of smoke that goes into your lungs, and those terpenes that comes from the cannabis buds actually help with the bronchial dilation, such as your pinene strains and your eucalyptols. Okay, so you need to know a lot bit more about the education of cannabis before judging it. So if you want that education, please give us a call. Again, you have the number. New Hampshire Supreme Court rules in favor of the employment protections for medical cannabis patients. Justice ruled that providing the defendant with an exception to a company's marijuana drug testing policy was a reasonable accommodation under state law. So congratulations.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up.
We need those laws everywhere. Yes, that should be a federal law, and especially legalizing cannabis on a federal legal level, okay? Not just decriminalizing it, but actually making it legal, allowing people to have their rights and how they feel, and knowing that cannabis is part of healthcare now. They can't deny it. They can't go back against it. They can't take their word back, and they have shown studies that prove that cannabis helps with people who understand how to use it, number one, and those who know the difference between addictions and managing your healthcare needs. All right, so we're not telling a person who's on a lifelong supply of high blood pressure medicine that they're addicted to high blood pressure medicine. So we should not do that. Right, but we should not do that to people who take cannabis for medical benefits. It is the same type of scenario, and I just want to let those know, and especially those who are in higher arenas, like our politicians and our churches and our government. You know, they are the main ones who need this education.
They be tripping.
Yes, well, they're doing their job. So if you know someone who needs the education, we do have some politicians that have joined our courses. So if you know anyone who wants to take the class, we have the class starting out again in March, and we're going to be on a 420 special. So if you're interested, we'll have a great price ready for you. All right, so we want to thank you all for joining the show this week, and until next week, you all know what to do. Stay safe. Peace.